Hey everyone, I'm Clive, and this is Teens at a Table, the show where we talk about what's really happening in our world. This is our executive edition, where we talk to top U.S. execs about their companies and careers. Today, our guest will be Sarah Brooks, the Chief Growth Officer at BetterHelp.
Hi, my name is Greta, and I'm 17 years old.
Hi, my name is Juliet. I'm 17, and I'm a senior in high school.
So we're really excited to be here and talking to you today. And the first thing we wanted to ask is just about your job and really what a growth officer does.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome to meet you. I'm Sarah Brooks. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at BetterHelp. And what I do is I oversee our global marketing operation. So I focus on innovation and impact. Together with our executive team, I help to set the strategy and the vision for where the company is going. We're building on 12 amazing years of building the world's largest online therapy platform. We've helped over 5 million people. I have a very cool job. I get to work with content creators, sports teams, entertainers, like What's Poppin' with Davis. And he does these street style interviews. And so we'll have him go out and walk the streets of New York, ask people really deep questions. He just asked a series of when's the last time that you cried, getting people to be really open and vulnerable, and asking people of all ages and all walks of life. We're always thinking about how do we take this and create more awareness for BetterHelp, for therapy, and just introducing more people to the concept that it's not shameful to seek help for your mental health. There's 1 in 8 people globally who are experiencing some sort of mental illness, and only 30% of them actually seek help. So this is a really big problem across the world.
It's really amazing. That's an incredible mission. I think I've watched some of those videos too. I really love them, yeah. Could you tell us about a moment from your career that you look back on and you're just particularly proud of?
I am so proud of some of the things that my team and I have been able to accomplish in the past year. One of them that I'll talk about is the State of Stigma report that we published. So we sought out to create this campaign really to understand what is the state of mental health around the globe. We surveyed over 16,000 people across 23 countries, and we found some amazing insights. One of them that I wanted to share is that Gen Z in particular, very open about talking about their mental health online. However, the demographic that was most likely to say that going to therapy made you mentally weak. So that was a really important insight that started to form the foundation for a lot of the work that we're doing to really help Gen Z seek that professional support rather than just sort of, following the latest therapy tips online.
So we're the generation that's most open about our mental health, but we're also the generation that says that therapy makes you weak.
Exactly.
That is such an interesting paradox. Wow.
Hi, my name is Anais, and I'm 16 years old.
Hi, my name is Clive, and I'm 16 years old. Was there a time during your teenage years that you faced a roadblock and you just didn't know what to do, or you felt lost?
I think this is such a common thing when you're a teenager. So certainly I had many roadblocks and bumps and twists and turns in the road along the way. Any other metaphor that you can think of for your teenage years?
So when you came up against hurdles as a teen, who did you talk to?
So I wish as a teen that I had a solution like BetterHelp, truly. I grew up in a very rural community, small town. I was a very self-motivated teen. I knew that I wanted to go away to college. I knew that I wanted to go have a big career and live in a city. And I had a lot of coaches, a lot of teachers who recognized that in me and really supported me. That said, their lived experience was very different. They lived in a small rural community. They hadn't done those things before. I'm very close with my parents. They know me better than anyone. They were great support. But there is something that is unique about getting an unbiased professional opinion.
Yeah, I think that everyone has their parents, but they have this kind of like paternal instinct that makes it hard to really talk to them because they're always going to think about you as being their kid and feel like scared for you and want the best for you. But I have my granny who can kind of like think more on the macro side of things. You know, she's not as worried about me. She understands my passions and stuff and can kind of help me not thinking about me like, is he going to be safe, but actually like, what does he want and how would this impact his life?
It really resonates with me, and I think maybe it's helpful. I'm a parent as well, and I always remind my kids, listen, I'm parenting for the first time. So there is something about your granny who is not parenting for the first time, where this lived experience just helps you to be able to see things with a bit more perspective.
Yeah, I feel like I am very well matched with my grandmother. We are like personalities that go well together. Do you think that's an important part of seeking a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things on teen counseling and on BetterHelp that we do is that we match you with a provider who is experienced in situations that are relevant for teens. So whether that's stress or anxiety or family issues, and that's a good fit for you. So when you sign up with teen counseling, you go through an intake quiz, and that quiz really gets into some really deep personal questions. The reason why it does that is that it takes all of that into account along with our 12 years of experience and finds the right match for you. And so the right match is important because you feel comfortable, you can get to the real deep work, and we find that that match actually drives real meaningful clinical outcomes. So people are feeling better within 12 weeks.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been able to accomplish a lot, and I was just wondering, how do you approach making big decisions like you have?
I am fortunate to get to make a lot of decisions. I think like a scientist. So I try and collect as much information as I can, and then always asking why. You have to balance that with not collecting so much information that you wind up in what I like to call analysis paralysis. You've collected all this data, but you don't really know what to do with it. So then I classify things into two different themes. One is a one-way door decision. Two is a two-way door decision. So a two-way door decision, you can easily reverse it. Maybe you get it wrong, but you can change it. That one, I take a lot of pressure off of myself. And I think, okay, do I have kind of the right amount of information? What could go wrong? Okay, it's a two-way door decision. Let's make the decision and move on. A one-way door decision, I want to be a lot more thoughtful about because I know it's really challenging to go back. And so with these type of decisions in particular, I try to go through what's the worst case scenario, not to catastrophize or overwhelm myself, but really so that I can build a scenario plan for each of the things that could go wrong and make sure that I'm really prepared and I've thought this through and that this decision makes sense. And then the last thing that I do, and I think this is really important, because I do have a lot of responsibility and also a lot of power in making decisions, I got this advice a long time ago, and I make sure I always think about who is going to be impacted by this decision, who doesn't have a seat at the table. And I make sure that I'm really representing their voice.
That's a really good way of thinking about it because I'm just such an indecisive person. Do you use those strategies in your personal life to make smaller decisions too?
Absolutely.
Like, do you apply them as well? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try that. That's really good.
Yes, exactly. Like an outfit for the day, two-way door decision,
Yeah,
right?
you can go home and change it. Yeah.
Exactly. You can always change it.
Yeah. What inspired you and the BetterHelp team to launch the teen product?
Yeah. So speaking about being seniors, we know that young people have more pressures today than ever. Again, I mentioned the state of stigma earlier, where we found that Gen Z is very often talking about mental health online, and yet saying that going to therapy makes you mentally weak. And so teen counseling really exists as a place for teens to be able to seek that professional help, get matched with someone who is going to absolutely have experience in what you're going through, whether that's stress, whether that's anxiety, whether that's family issues as you're, defining your own voice and figuring out what it is that you want to do next. And so that's why we created teen counseling as a space for teens to be able to explore that.
I think that's an incredible idea. But how do you market that to a generation that so blatantly says, we don't want this, it makes us weak, but even though they know they need it, how do you get them to sign up?
Yeah. So again, I think it's really with all marketing. You want to make sure that you understand who your target audience is and then really deeply understand that audience. So that research was super important to find out, actually, we didn't expect that there would be a lot of hesitation with Gen Z in therapy, but there is. There actually more than if we're talking to somebody who is Gen X or a millennial. Yeah. And so that insight was really important. So first, knowing that we're going in with some sort of barrier or hesitation, and then understanding where teens, where Gen Z are spending their time. what voices are they listening to? What messages are going to resonate? So that's why I bring up some of our content creators that we work with. For example, the street style interviews, and really, again, breaking down those barriers to help people take the first step to get the support they need.
That's really clever. And with, podcasts and the street interviews, that's a really good method. Yeah. I hope we'll listen. I speak for all of my generation when I say I hope that we'll listen.
Obviously thinking a lot about our futures now as juniors in high school. How did your education prepare you for your career? And were there any specific professors or courses that helped you and that stood out?
So look, when I was in high school and college, a chief growth officer at a digital health company, that job didn't exist. So there was no perfect path that I could have taken to get here. That said, I did take a lot of care in making sure that I learned how to learn. So how did I surround myself with people who were deep thinkers? How did I think about doing research to uncover insights about the world? How did I develop studious, academic skills, right? So that I could have good time management. I'm here talking with you today. I have a meeting later. I have an event tonight, right? I still have to make sure that I'm managing my time so that I can do all the things that I need to do for my job and also for myself professionally today. So the job that you have in 20 plus years from now likely doesn't exist today. And so rather than focusing in on this is the job that I want, I would say and encourage you to think about what do you want your life to feel like and sort of be open to navigating all of the things that may change in the world between now and then, and know that change is constant. When I was going through this, the iPhone didn't exist, right? And that was a big change to the way that we live the world and the businesses that existed. And similarly for you, the thing that you'll do 20 plus years from now doesn't exist yet, but you will go on to develop those skills that you'll need to excel in that career.
What do you think is one way that you kind of unplug from everything with work and just take time for yourself to relax?
I think the teens say touch grass, right?
Yeah,
So for me, I really love nature. I do. So being outside, being with my family. I have 2 young boys, 8 and 10. So whether that's on the baseball field or the soccer field or forcing them up the side of another mountain, we live in the Bay Area outside of San Francisco. It really helps me to reconnect. And I think there's something about seeing nature and reminding yourself that you're just one person in this vast world is really helpful for me.
Thank you so much for being here today and sharing all your insightful knowledge.
Yeah, we're so grateful and happy that you were able to come today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm really impressed by the Teen Council, and I loved our interview today. So thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, it was super interesting. I think something that really stuck out to me was when she talked about analysis paralysis. I was connecting it to my life in college right now and how much I'm prioritizing fun, how much I'm prioritizing academics.
Miss Brooks explained BetterHelp's process of having this huge kind of testing thing before you're matched with someone. So you kind of answer all these really deep questions about kind of yourself and your past experiences, and all that information, all these deep questions help them to match you with the exact right therapist for you, which I think is so interesting because I think in your life it can be kind of hard to find these people that understand you and kind of perfectly matched or cater to your needs. And I think that that's something that you can do online that can't really be done in person.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting how she was talking about how she didn't even know her career existed and how her journey to ending up where she is now, it just showed how we're all people and we all go through different things, and how her journey to ending up where she was went through many ups and downs, but she was able to navigate that by having people around her that supported her. And I just think that's great that we might not know our careers in 20 years and they might not exist, but we'll be able to go through that journey and find out what we want to do with our lives.
I can't make a decision for the life of me. Never been able to. And what Miss Brooks said that I found so interesting is when she has a big decision to make, whether it's in her personal life or her professional life, she thinks about it in a, as she put it, 1-door or 2-door decision. A 2-door decision is less pressure. You can go back, you can change it, you can fix it. What am I going to wear in the morning? You can go change your outfit if you don't like it. But a one-door decision are the bigger decisions. They're the ones you can't go back on, the ones you can't change. So she spends more time thinking about those than she does on the two-door decisions, and she sort of breaks them into those categories. And next time I have a big decision, I'm going to think about it like that.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Teens at the Table. Thank you to everyone at the table today. For more teen-related content, head to sheknows.com and make sure to subscribe to the She Knows YouTube channel.